Yo. Welcome in, man. Today is November 21st. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We only got 4 games on the board for today. We'll jump into them, go through a couple of the comments as we always do. And of course, do a quick recap as we always do as well to get started today. Not the greatest night yesterday. I gave out 3 plays yesterday on the show. They went 1 and 2. Not gonna mention the team from Philadelphia, but that was a loser. Probably offered him for the foreseeable future, of course. And Orlando did not get the job done. I thought without Norman Powell yesterday, I thought not that it would be easy, but I thought that they would be winners. They scored 93 points last night against a Clippers team that was without probably their best scorer. So I did give out the under in that game. That was the first play. Probably should have just went 1-0 yesterday. Also talked about liking the Hornets yesterday. Did not play it. There's a couple other plays that I talked about that I didn't get to the window with. Tyrese Halliburton under his points was an easy winner. Nikola Vucevic over his 3-point prop was an easy winner. I didn't get to the window with either one of those though, and they both were winners. So try to do a little bit better today. NBA has been kicking my butt, if I'm being honest. What's today? Thursday. So the last 3 days have actually been losing days. 3 consecutive losing days. Not big losing days, but losing days. 2 losing days. I went 2-2 on Monday. I had a losing day on Tuesday. I had a losing day yesterday. The weekend was perfect. But it is what it is. That's the ebbs and flows of the NBA. Let's see if we can find some winners today. I'm interested in talking the games out more than like a whole bunch of work that I've done so far. I've only locked in 1 play. So let's jump into it for today. Go through a couple of the comments real quick. What up, G Hurt? Trevor says, good morning, ChrisBeCappinn in chat. He says, had a bad night with Steph being the top point scorer. Wiggins could kick rocks. I didn't even stay up for that game last night. I said that it was a Golden State spot. I didn't play the game. I didn't think that they would beat Atlanta that bad. They smoked Atlanta. And sometimes the lines are kind of telling. 8.5 was a big number. Warriors don't. They cover it pretty easily against an Atlanta team that I thought would score more than 97 points. I woke up and saw that and was like, damn. Dean says, top of the top. Let's hear it for my Knicks last night. The Rockets and Warriors treated me nicely as well. Yeah, the shorter that line got for the Knicks, the more I liked the Knicks yesterday. I talked about that. I feel like a lot of money was coming in on Phoenix yesterday, and I understood like the spot because Phoenix doesn't play again until Tuesday. But with them being so short-handed, I couldn't get there with Phoenix yesterday. Could not get there with Phoenix yesterday. Let's see. What up to my guy? Justin G. Harris says, if the 76ers were playing against the Pacers, I'm not sure who I bet on. You take the Pacers. You definitely take the Pacers. Drop it down says, top of the morning, Chris Community. He played the Blazers and Thunder under. He says 1 unit, 115. And the Warriors first half and full game. Feel good to see a couple plays hit. Let's get back to it today. Yeah, absolutely. Drop it down's been giving out some looks in the women's college basketball, the men's college basketball, the Discord jumping. They be in there firing off plays left and right, man. I just be looking at them like, man, I hope y'all cashing. What up, GLB Bets? I think most of them are winners too. What up, 5-star? Brian in here. He says, top of the morning. Let's get back to it today. What up, PZ? Brian says, Houston first half, Portland first quarter, then proceeded to lose 3. So let's get it back. I need to get it back. G. Harris says, you can probably take Halliburton under points down to 8 until further notice. My goodness. I think he had 4 last night. And I'm with Prolific. He says slate doesn't look too appealing. I agree with that. Justin said, after being mad all night and couldn't sleep, I realized it's not on the 76ers. It's on me to keep keep betting them. And yeah, I'm right there with you. That was my second bet for the Sixers this season. I'm not messing with them again. What up, Marquise? All right, let's jump into it for today. What up, Malik? He says Bulls did Bulls things yesterday. He said to stay away from the Bulls. I'm glad I stayed away from that game. Bulls scored 106 points yesterday. They either world beaters or they losing by 20. The Bulls are not going to do too much in between. I guess they'll have another players only meeting. Probably call out the defense this time. Let's jump into it for today, man. Mikal Bridges over 15.5 did cash for PZ. What up to my guy Mark? Malik says can't believe the Pacers scored damn near 40 points in the fourth. What up, Meryl? What's up, Tasha? Good morning to y'all. No, that's what happens, Bam Max, when I bet on teams. Like I bet on under in Denver and Memphis the other day. I mean, Memphis doesn't know how to play defense anymore all of a sudden, and Memphis and Denver crushes them in that second game. Orlando, the best rated defensive team. I mean, it's not like they didn't they only gave up 103 points. But offense just couldn't score the basketball yesterday. Get smoked yesterday. Lose that game by double digits. And we got the best of the number. CLV on every play I gave out yesterday as well. So it is what it is. Let's jump into it for today. Already talking too much. Let's jump into it for today. Check jaXon out if you guys have not. I see a lot of people signing up. Let me know your thoughts. Is it working for you? Are you tracking the plays? You can look at a lot of different things with jaXon. There's a referral code in the description of the video. Let's jump into it for today, man. First game up, and the only game that I bet is Detroit and Charlotte. We'll go injury report first. So on the Detroit side of things, they will be pretty healthy. Asir Thompson is listed as doubtful. Based on what I was reading from the beat reporters yesterday, he's not going to play. He's like finally getting himself back into some full contact stuff. So I'm not expecting him to be out there in Charlotte today. And on the Charlotte side, Miles Bridges is listed as game time decision. He's listed as probable. And Trey Mann will be back in this game as well. He has missed, I want to say he missed the last few games. He's missed, he's missed 2 of the past 4 games due to back issues. So they get Trey Mann back in this game. So on the Detroit side of things, they do have 2 days of rest. That last game that they played against Chicago at home was a 5th game in 7 nights. So you typically get a little break after that. You got 2 days rest here, coming off a 10-point loss to the Bulls as a 4-point favorite in that game. 4 straight unders for Detroit, and they are actually 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. On the Charlotte side of things, 1 day's rest. This is the 4th game in 6 nights for Charlotte. First game back home after a short little 2-game road trip. They lost to Brooklyn by a point, and they ended up getting smoked by Cleveland as well. They've actually lost 4 of their last 5 games and gone over in 3 straight games are the Charlotte Hornets. So I look at the spot for Detroit here because these teams have played already this season. Charlotte, that people remember, actually beat Detroit. They beat them 108-107 back on the 6th. So about 2 weeks ago to exactly, they beat this team by 1 as a 1.5 point dog. The Hornets were 1.5 point dogs in this spot. Brandon Miller, if you guys remember, he had that tip in at the buzzer. That game went under the 223. Detroit had won 3 straight and covered all 3 before they let Brandon Miller, get that tip in. And Charlotte drew up a horrible play at the end of the game too. I think the shot didn't even touch the rim, which is why Brandon Miller, I think it just hit the backboard, which is why Brandon Miller was able to secure the tip in. So I do think Detroit is in a nice little bounce back spot. I kind of lean towards them to get the game. I think Detroit is the better of the 2 teams right now. I'm not sure if Charlotte is better than Detroit overall, but I do think if Charlotte's going to continue to be without rim protection, like when you're starting Grant Williams at the center, I want nothing to do with your team in general. So Detroit actually was and I put pick on the screen because this line is all over the place. I see -1, +1, plus a 0 over on Caesar. So it really is like about a pick. I do lean towards Detroit to win this game. I don't want to bet. I know Charlotte has not been looking good. They're coming off, a couple losses, but Detroit also is coming off a loss. And I think like right now, Detroit is the better team. They probably remember how they lost that last game in Charlotte as well. So I would lean towards Detroit on this to win the game, probably just take them on the money line. But what I did play was I played the under. I sent it out last night at under 221.5. The total actually went up a little bit. It's still 221.5 out here. And the higher it goes, the more I like the under. So I got it on ESPN Bet at -115. It's on FanDuel right now at I think -114. So about the same odds. The head-to-head series between the 2 teams are 7-3 to the under in the last 10 matchups. It's actually 7-0 to the under in the last 7 matchups, including the game that they played earlier this season. That total was listed at 223, and now you see it come down to 221. It was actually 219.5 last night. I'm actually surprised that it's actually going up. You look at both of these teams, they're both bottom 10 in pace. They're both bottom 10 in offensive rating. Both teams coming off a loss. So I think that they'll both, want to lock up and play a little defense in this spot. And both teams are rested. Charlotte coming off 1 day's rest, and Detroit, like I said, coming off 2 days rest here. Some more trends. You got Detroit on the full season, in the 16 games that they played so far, 10, 5-1 to the under. The Hornets also 9-5 to the under as well, including 5-1 to the under if they are a home dog, which I think that they do end up closing as dogs in this spot. Like I said, I like Detroit. I like the under more than I like Detroit, though. So I did play under. From a prop perspective, I think so. For people who don't know, LaMelo Ball got benched in that last game. I think he finished with like a season low in points. He just didn't have it going. And Coach Charles Lee was riding with the hot hand, whoever that was, because I wasn't watching the game. But I was just reading about it this morning. I do think Duren is in a really good spot, man. He's coming off a game where he had 22 rebounds against Chicago. Detroit doesn't have a real center. They're not a terrible rebounding team. Grant Williams is about 6'3" though. Like I just kind of think that if he can stay out of foul trouble, because Jalen Duren did play against the Charlotte Hornets earlier this season. He did not have a good rebounding game. He got in foul trouble instantly. And whenever you're taking somebody to get 11 rebounds, which his number sit at 10.5, minus 128 on FanDuel was what it was this morning. You kind of need them to be on the floor. So if you think Duren can stay off the pond and stay on the floor, then I think his rebound prop at 10.5 is pretty good. It's pretty good money in this spot as well. Did not play it though. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. I feel like I talked too long. What up, Jose? G. Hurst says he likes action. He likes jaXon. He says jaXon is pretty good. I think it is as well. TCM Best says I'm gonna catch the replay, bro. But that 6.5 for the Rockets was money. Yeah, I called it. Didn't play it, but I called it. Liked it a lot. OJ says gotta be a Piston spot. Seem to be chemistry issues between the coaching staff and the players, especially after Melo sat in the fourth. I'm pretty sure Melo was probably pissed about that, but he also just wasn't playing well. So I could see him having a bounce back game in this spot. Let's look at LaMelo numbers from that game. So he played 24 minutes in that game, only had 12 points and 5 assists, but he wasn't shooting the ball well. He shot 3 for 13 from the field, 3 for 8 from the three-point line in that game. But he was coming off games where LaMelo's actually had 30 in 3 of his last 4 games. I like Detroit defensively though. I do think they're a defensive team. I don't rely on their offense a lot. Justin says he's going to the well. He says give him LaMelo over 27.5 points, minus 115. He says I just expected to go crazy after being temporarily benched last game, and I could see that. Could definitely see that. What's up, Blunt? He says it's my birthday. Let's cash today, Chris and chat. Hey, happy birthday, bro. Hope you enjoy it, man. Hopefully the sports books are good to you and they give you some gifts today. I know I could use a gift myself. G. Harris said, love LaMelo benching angle. I agree with that. Dropping down, so she likes the over here. So we're on the opposite side. Bounce back game for LaMelo, 5 stars says. I can see that. Some B-Day love. Malik says, I was going to ask about that, Justin. Do you know if he said anything post-game about it? I was reading something about it, Malik. He was just saying that, the players, Coach Charles Lee was saying that the players have to be mindful that whoever has it going is who he's going to stick with. So we'll see how it goes. I'm with you, though, Sean. He says Pistons money line, quick revenge spot as well. That's the way I'm leaning. Have not gotten to the window with it yet, though. Robert says LaMelo threes. Trey Mann, he plays better defense than Melo. Yeah, LaMelo do got to play a little bit more defense. His wingspan is so long. He should be a much better defender. Not to say that he's a terrible defender. Tiger says, I agree. Says LaMelo can't buy a shot. He does. You don't got to worry about confidence with LaMelo though. You don't got to worry about him being gun shy. I will tell you that. Let's move it on over to Timberwolves and Raptors. So this line was at I think it was at 8 yesterday. Yeah, it was at 8. It's come down a little bit to 7.5. Total sitting at 225.5 right now. It's down to 7 on most books as well, man. I kind of want to take the Raptors. I know it's ugly. Haven't done anything with it yet, but you look at this Minnesota team, they are a little rested. 2 days rest here. Big look ahead spot for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They actually got the Boston Celtics on Sunday. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Sacramento in overtime. They beat Phoenix on a buzzer beater by Julius Randle where he traveled. But the Timberwolves have only covered 1 of their last 5 games. You look at Toronto, they also have 2 days rest. They beat the Indiana Pacers by 11 as 3.5-point home dogs the other day. Back-to-back covers, back-to-back overs for the Toronto Raptors. In fact, the Raptors have actually gone 8-2 to the over in the 10 covers that they have so far this season. So when the Raptors cover, they typically go over. So it seems to be correlated. If you like the Raptors, you like the over. I forgot to mention the injury report, but Scotty Barnes has actually popped up as questionable. We know he hasn't played in, how long has it been? Probably feel like the full season, but it's been quite a while since Scotty Barnes has played a basketball game. He's popped up on the injury report as questionable. Could make his return. He was dealing with the eye injury, and I think Emmanuel Quickley will still be out. On the opposite side, and the reason why I think this line dropped is because you got Mike Conley Jr. and Dante DiVincenzo both listed as questionable. No way I want the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road if these guys are going to be, not play. It's a left toe sprain for Mike Conley, and then for Dante DiVincenzo, it is it's his back. So we'll see. He was dealing with some back spasms on Sunday. We'll see if he actually plays tonight. Back spasms not something to play with though. I've seen back spasms like really, tighten people up. That was what Tyrese Halliburton was dealing with last season. He had his minutes limited because it can just lock up on you at any time. My pops used to deal with back spasm issues before. So yeah, I say all that to say that I kind of think that the Timberwolves are the Raptors. I mean, I think that the Raptors can keep this game close. I have not bet it yet. If I just look at Toronto, like I said, I'm not in the business of wanting to lay points with the Timberwolves right now. They've only covered one of their last 5 games. I know that the Toronto Raptors are not the greatest team, like by any means necessary, but you look at them defensively, they've actually been better than Minnesota the last 5 games. Defensive rating 12th. Opponents shooting less than 51%, so they're 7th defensively. An opponent effective field goal percentage. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They do give up a few offensive rebounds, but they're not fouling a lot. And the Timberwolves get a lot of their points from the free throw line. Timberwolves' last 5 games are actually shooting the 7th most free throws. So I know Toronto offensively is not great at all, but I think that they can keep it within the number today, especially with the Minnesota Timberwolves having a big game against the Boston Celtics on deck for Sunday. So those are the ways that I would only be playing, taking the points with the Raptors. And if you get in now, then I guess I'm not getting in now. But if you get in now, I guess you jump ahead of the news of Mike Conley and Dante DiVincenzo. If you wait, then you potentially get a worse number. So that's the way that I'm thinking about this game. Hadn't thought about it from a prop perspective. Not sure how I would look in this spot if I'm looking at it from a prop perspective. Let's go through the chat real quick and see what you guys are thinking about this one. Kenny says Cade over his 1.5 3-point makes in that last game. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Let's see. OJ says I agree with the under 2. Pistons 5th in NBA and defensive rating. Yeah, I said both of the teams are bottom 10 in pace, bottom 10 in offensive rating, and both teams are pretty good defensively. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. Justin says Timberwolves over 226 when he bet it. Yeah, I think you get a better number if you wait on the injury report here. This total is going down. Like I said, if you like the Raptors, you definitely like the over. If you like the Timberwolves, you probably like the under. Timberwolves defense has not been great recently though. Like they've been kind of middle of the pack. Actually, last 5 games, they're the 20th. They're 20th in points allowed per 100 possessions. Actually allowing teams to shoot about 58% from the field, which puts them bottom 6. And they're giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, and that's what Toronto does best. Toronto is the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the last 5 games in the NBA. Jakob Poeltl has been going crazy for people who've been paying attention. Jakob Poeltl has been killing. I think he leads the league in rebounding as well. This Jakob Poeltl. He'll have his hands full with Rudy Gobert, but outside of Rudy Gobert, like the Timberwolves, not a great rebounding team in my opinion. They're 24th in offensive rebounds and 30th in opponent. 24th in offensive rebounding for themselves and 24th in offensive rebounding, limited offensive rebounds. So yeah, that's a big advantage for Toronto in this game is the rebounding advantage here. So yeah, it'd be Raptors for me. I like the Raptors even more. He could return. Not sure if he's going to return. Drop a Dime says you can get Duran 10 plus rebounds on Bet365 for plus money. Yeah, I think shout out to Bet365, man. They always got the best lines. G Hurst says my numbers like Toronto for some reason. I like it. Blunt says, I want to fade the Raptors whenever Scotty Barnes and Quickly are out. Yeah, I couldn't. Don't let me talk you off. I just think I'd be on the opposite side here. Ball Talk says, I like Toronto here too. RJ, Grady Dick, Jakob Poeltl been playing well. I agree. PZ says Raptors plus 7.5 for nothing. I think they can keep it within the number, man. Malik says could be an Edwards assist night if Conley is not in. And I agree with that, especially if Dante DiVincenzo doesn't play as well. I could see that. 9-7 says Edwards over his 3.5 threes, went over last game against Toronto, and may need to score more with the potential injuries. And yeah, I could definitely see that. Anthony Edwards been letting the 3-point ball go. I did forget to mention that these two teams have played already. Minnesota actually beat Toronto earlier, 112-101. Game was played in Minnesota. Minnesota was laying 14.5 points in that game, and Toronto came all the way back in the fourth quarter to cover that spread. The game went under 219. That game was, I forgot when it was played, but they went under 219, and you see this total a lot higher, 225.5 in this one. So yeah, it'll be. I think I like over, maybe even a Toronto team total over. If I look at real quick, let me just look at the Timberwolves. Let me just look at the Timberwolves this season when they've been on the road. Not even on the road, but let's just see. I feel like the Timberwolves defense isn't as good as it used to be last season. I think that's why we can't trust them. Timberwolves opponents are, let me go to Moneyballer real quick, and then we'll keep it moving to the next game. I feel like the Timberwolves opponents are going up and over their team total. All right, so Timberwolves opponents are, let's see. Timberwolves opponents are 9-5 to the over on their team total. So Timberwolves defense has not been as great this season. And that's what I kind of thought. Yeah, I kind of thought that. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that angle a lot. Maybe a Raptors team total over. RJ rebounds and assists. Miro says, I could agree with that. Mike Conley assists under. Raptors allowed the least assist to point guards. I like that look, Marquise. I think they continue to go under. I could definitely see that as well. What up, DC Sean? He says AD points over. We'll get to that game in just a second. What up, Charles White? Ball Talk says revenge spot, Toronto money line. Oh, that's spicy. I ain't messing with no money line, but it beat Toronto plus the points. I think I like the over. Probably gonna wait on the injury report though. Dante DiVincenzo and Mike Conley that's a lot for the Minnesota side. And we just saw a Raptors team, take care of a shorthanded Indiana Pacers team the other day. So teams coming in here thinking that they're just gonna beat the Raptors by resting players, that might not work. And like I said, Minnesota got Boston on Sunday, so something else to kind of take into consideration. I like the Raptors. All right, let's go Spurs and Jazz. This line, it was at 4. Yeah, it's actually down to 3 now. Down to 3. Some 2.5s on the board as well. So disregard what you guys see here. The total has started to trickle up just a little bit. It was at 223 when I made the graphic this morning. I see a lot of 223.5s right now. Looks like that is the consensus. Injury report, we got for the Utah Jazz, we got Jordan Clarkson listed as game time decision. He's dealing with plantar fasciitis, listed as questionable. He's already missed 2 games due to plantar fasciitis already this season. I feel like Jordan Clarkson been balling. Outside of him, Walker Kessler's also listed as out. He's missing probably like his 5th or 6th game. And then on the other side, we got Chris Paul listed as a game time decision. He's dealing with a sprained thumb. He's questionable in the game. We'll see if he plays or not. Zach Collins also listed as game time decision. He has some left knee tendonitis. Sounds like a lot of old injuries. And then, of course, Victor Wembanyama will remain out. He's not going to play. I think I saw that he will remain out in this game. Yeah, he's already been ruled out for this game. And then I also think Devin Vassell should return. Well, no, he's already been ruled out too. He's been ruled out against the Jazz for tonight as well. I thought he would return, but yeah, he's been ruled out with a knee injury. So yeah, this is ugly. It's really ugly. Initially when I saw the game and I saw the total, and I thought Victor Wembanyama wasn't gonna play, I thought it was the over spot. And I guess the market's still kind of agreeing there, but I kind of need to know if Chris Paul and Zach Collins are going to play. The Spurs are already pretty thin without Devin Vassell, without Victor Wembanyama. Like, I don't want to take too many overs for the Spurs in that spot, but this makes a lot of sense right here. Stephen Castle, he's been balling. If you've been watching the Spurs play, and if no Chris Paul, I mean, maybe you want to get in early. All right, so Utah, this is 1 day's rest, fourth game in 6 nights, and it's the last game of a 4-game road trip. They've lost all 3 games on this road trip so far. On the San Antonio side, 1 day's rest for them. They're coming off a nice little 6-point win as a 9.5-point underdog against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Tuesday. You got a quick revenge spot for the San Antonio Spurs as well. They lost 110 to 111 to Utah at home back on the 9th, so a little less than 2 weeks ago. That game went under the 221, and now, like I said, you see this total set a little bit higher, even without Victor Wembanyama being out there. The first time these two teams played in Utah, because this is the third game, this will be the third game, San Antonio won that game. So they won 106 to 88. That was, of course, without Lauri Markkanen before he started to play this season. So we've seen San Antonio go into Utah, get a win. We see Utah go into San Antonio, get a win. And then we got San Antonio as a short favorite. I can't play this game without Chris Paul. I know the Utah Jazz have been really, really bad. The Spurs are the better team in my opinion. But Utah probably want to get at least one. Like I said, this is the last game of a road trip, and I kind of feel like it's a winnable game. I wanted to look at the Jazz last season. I forgot to look at this. I'm going to just look at this real quick. I wanted to see the Jazz last season when they were short road favorites. So, short road dogs, like when they were getting less than 2 possessions. So 5 or less. They actually finished 3-7 straight up, 4-6 against the number. Towards the beginning of the season, they lost to the Bulls, got smoked. They beat the Grizzlies in this spot, lost to the Grizzlies in this spot, beat the Trailblazers in this spot, got smoked by the Cavs in this spot, beat the Pistons in this spot, lost to the Rockets but covered. And then the last 3 after the All-Star break, they got smoked all 3 times to the Nets, to the Knicks, and to the Hawks. So this doesn't really tell me much. I don't think I can lay 3 with the Spurs though. Don't think I can lay 3 with the Spurs with no Victor Wembanyama and potentially no Chris Paul, no Devin Vassell. I know the Jazz are not great. I can't do it. But want to take, like I said, I want to take the over, but I don't think I can do that either without Chris Paul, Devin Vassell. So we'll see what happens with the injury report. Not a game that I'm looking to play, I don't think right now though. Nothing really stands out to me in this game. So I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. Just talking it out. Just said that kind of correlates with my over 2.6. I think so too. Kyle Flipperotsky, I think is how you pronounce his name, over his points, rebounds, and assists. He has been playing some pretty big minutes. Zach Collins not gonna play. That does open up some potential for him. He's actually played 23 plus minutes, and it looks like 6 straight games. He can play. He can stretch the floor. Not the greatest 3-point shooter, but he can rebound the basketball. He has double-digit points in 3 of his last 5. I can see that. I can definitely see that. This game won't see my money, and I'm with you, Malik. I don't think I'm playing this one, man. I do like Castle though. Over his 3.5 assists. Maybe if I'm playing anything tonight, I'm looking that way. LJ says if Chris Paul plays, take his assists over. Utah allows the most assists to point guards. I agree, and that's why I like Castle if he doesn't play. Going back to this comment from right here from Merrill, one of those guys should be able to get up and over their assists. I do like that. What's up, AB? Says good morning, Chris and gang. Keldon Johnson points. That could be it. I forgot about Keldon Johnson. He's been coming off the bench a lot. Keldon Johnson could absolutely feast in this spot. This is not a good Utah Jazz defense. We know that. I don't have to give you guys the numbers, but Utah defensively, they're gonna give it up to somebody. Who was it the other day? It was Dalton Knecht, 37 points. Like Keldon Johnson could be that 37-point scorer tonight. So I kind of like that if, a sneaky spot. But Utah defensively, 26th rated team last 5 games, 28th in opponent effective field goal percentage. They don't force turnovers, and they foul a lot. So, yeah, I could definitely see that. If Chris Paul plays, maybe it's just a San Antonio team total over. I could see that as well. Castle over 13.5 points. Dropping Dom says. User says, I like the Jazz, but I'd love to have Clarkson if he plays. I agree with that as well. Brian says he grabbed the Pistons at +1. Says like the rebounding advantage. Charlotte got one home game and then back on the road to Milwaukee. I did see that as well. Not sure how much they're gonna look ahead to the Bucks, but I do think it's a Detroit spot for me if I'm playing anything. Justin says, Chris, do you bet? Do you be betting on or consider betting win margin 1 to 10? Seems like a better way to lay points and not worry about backdoor covers like the Celtics the other day. I probably should have, Justin. I probably should, man. If I'm being honest, like most of the time when I see games, the first thing I'm thinking about is let me check the spot for the teams because I'm trying to get to a spread or a total. And then after that, I'll go, well, let me think of, a player that's been kind of hot or an advantage that the team has, kind of like what LJ was saying about Chris Paul assists. That's why I was liking Castle. So I just kind of bet like that. I never really go into these other markets. I probably should because there's some money to be made for sure. But I like betting on player props outside of betting on spreads and ATS. But yeah, I probably would have made a couple dollars the other day. Boston, man, I'm still upset about that one. All right, let's get over to the last game. We got, I'm probably staying off this game. Last game, we got the Magic and the Lakers. This line, I see kind of like moving all over the place. It was at 4.5 last night. It went up to 5.5 when I woke up this morning. It come back down to 5. Now it's down to 4.5, but now I also see a 5. So total hasn't really moved a lot. 217. I see some 216.5s out there as well. You got an Orlando team that lost me some money yesterday. Second leg of a back-to-back, of course. Third game in 4 nights. All games on the road, and it's the last game of a 3-game road trip for them. They had actually won and covered 6 straight games going back before I bet on them, of course. And last night, they just lay an egg. They can't get stops. They give up 103 points last night, which is not a lot, but they hadn't given up 100 points at all. And a lot of it was their offense. Like the Clippers really locked them up. Franz Wagner had a bad game. I think KCP had 2 points. He out there looking like never mind. And then on the Lakers side, Lakers been balling. 6 straight wins, perfect 7-0 at the crib so far this season. They do got a big game coming up against the Denver Nuggets, which, of course, is last season playoff revenge because the Lakers lose to the Nuggets in the playoffs every season. So potential look-ahead spot for them coming up in that game. But I do kind of feel like it's a Lakers spot. They've actually won 8 of the last 10 in the head-to-head matchup between the Orlando Magic. Orlando did blow the doors off the Lakers last season in Orlando. They beat them 120-101 last time that they played. They were 3.5-point dogs, the Orlando Magic were. So they've actually covered, I think, back-to-back games against the Lakers, even though the Lakers were able to win in LA last season. 3 straight unders, of course, as well in the head-to-head matchup between the Magic and the Lakers. When I think about these teams, is 2 teams that play totally different brands of basketball. I'm also interested to see, because I didn't talk about the injury report, if you guys remember from yesterday, Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. were both upgraded to questionable. Neither one of them ended up playing, but I'm interested to see if they play in this game here. Wendell Carter Jr., he was ruled out yesterday with the foot injury. I think that could help a little bit. On the opposite side, Rui Hachimura is listed as game time decision. He's still dealing with the ankle injury. And Anthony Davis is also, I think he's listed as probable for this game. I think he goes out there, he plays in this one. Yeah, he's listed as probable for this game. So Lakers injury report should be pretty good. Like they, outside of, it's all of the normal guys that probably won't play. Orlando does play slow, but I think this total is a tad bit too low. I think the Lakers can take advantage of Orlando in the second leg of a back-to-back, a third game in 4 nights. In the last game of a long road trip, well, not super long, but the last game of a road trip, Orlando probably will want to show a little bit better. Maybe they were looking ahead to the Lakers and thinking that they were going to beat the Clippers without knowing Powell yesterday. That didn't come to fruition. And this is a difficult game for me to cap. I don't really like laying a lot of points with the Lakers, but this is a pretty short number. I kind of feel like they should be able to get the job done here. Also, kind of just want to see what happens with the injury report in this game and see if Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. play. Lakers offensively have been cooking. In Orlando, still, even with last night's performance, still second best defensive rated team over the last 5 games, 4th in opponent effective field goal percentage. The Lakers offense, though, number 5 over the last 5 games, averaging 122 points per 100 possessions. They're 4th in effective field goal percentage, 10th in turnover rate, so they're taking care of the basketball. 13th in offensive rebound rate, and getting to the free throw line at the highest rate right now. 24 free throws per game over the last 5 games. Lakers like to score in the paint, of course, as we know, because they can struggle shooting the 3-point shot. But like I said, it's just not the greatest spot for Orlando here. So I kind of want to take the Lakers. It's not something that I do frequently, but I do kind of think it's a Lakers spot. I can see Orlando. It's a super young team, but I can see them running out of gas late in this spot, trying to keep up. And the Lakers, I think, probably play really fast, knowing that, Orlando 3rd game in 4 nights and the second leg of a back-to-back. So I think I would lean a little bit more over, and I think I would lean with the Lakers to cover the 4.5. Don't have either one of them in my pocket, though, if I'm being honest. So those are my thoughts on this game. And I say all that to say that I feel like the Lakers have been pushing. Lakers are 7th in points scored per possession in transition. They're running the fast break at the 12th highest rate. Orlando is actually really good. They do a good job of taking that away. They're only giving up the 5th fewest points per possession in transition over the last 5 games. So it's a very conflicting style game, but I think I'd be on the Lakers here if I'm playing anything. Did not play the game, though. Did not play the game. Mark says he's looking at taking the Magic in this spot, plus 5.5. Thinks it's too many points. Justin says the same thing, plus 4.5 in his pocket. Let's see. If Rui out, connect threes, DJ Prop says. Yeah, Connect been killing. He connects a lot. Eugene says Connect been balling. AB says a star was born. Give me Dalton over his threes. He probably got a full green light now. With his coach being named JJ Redick, it makes a ton of sense. Let's see. Made 3-point shots. Let's see. Do we even have Dalton Connect lines? Let's see. Yeah, over 2.5. It's super juiced. Minus 165 on FanDuel is the best number. Only 3 books got it available right now, so you have to take him straight at 4. But that is what he out there for. LJ says Anthony Davis should control the boards. Take his over boards here. I can see it. Dirty Ray says I'll never pick Orlando when they are at home. When they at home on the road, not sure. Never pick against Orlando when they're at home, and they're not sure on the road. And yesterday was pretty telling to me. Charles says Lakers can get to 112, I believe. And I kind of think that they can get to 112 in this spot as well. I know Orlando will be a lot better locked in this spot. Maybe it is. I honestly, I don't have a good feel for the game. Like I said, 2 teams playing totally separate. Lakers got the look ahead spot to Denver, but the Lakers been hooping. Like I said, I think 6 straight wins. Could be a spot where Orlando runs out of gas, and that's how I'm thinking about it. But I did not play the game. And that's it for today, man. Not like I said, I don't really like the card as much. Don't want to force anything. The only thing that I did play, and we talked about it already, was the under. Detroit Charlotte under 221.5. I did put that in my pocket. If I'm betting anything else today, I do like Detroit in the game. I do think you can get them on the money line. I think that's a pretty good line. A pretty good play is Detroit to bounce back in this spot, especially off the 1-point loss that they had earlier in Charlotte. Charlotte is, I think, just 1-5 in their last 5 games, but 1-4 in their last 5 games. But I think that they can get the job done here, man. Especially if Detroit is a dog. I think Detroit can get the job done. I like the rebounding advantage that they have. I like Toronto plus the points against the Timberwolves. I think if I'm betting that game, that's the way I'm playing that one. Utah, San Antonio, probably a game I'm going to stay off of. If Chris Paul doesn't play, I think Castle has a big game in that spot. And then this Laker and Magic game, I don't think I'm going to play it either way, honestly. I think I'm going to stay off of that game, probably try to get ahead for tomorrow where we got a big slate, cup games. I already see the Wizards getting 15 points to the Boston Celtics. Warriors only laying 8 points against the Pelicans tomorrow. So we got those cup games tomorrow. I'll probably try to get ahead for those games tomorrow. This is the only thing that I'm gonna bet today, but pending some injury news, we'll see how it goes. It's probably be a light day for me, man. Resources as always are here. Check them out if you guys are interested. Best of luck to you guys on all the action that you do end up betting today. And that'll be the show, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Thursday. I'm out.